Hello everyone. Welcome to our Python programming course. In this today's program, we will learn why Python is called as high level language. I hope all of you are doing well. Let's start. Let's start with our first program. Now tell me which one is easier to understand. I think the second one is easier because it uses simple English words. So this is the main reason why Python is called as high level language. Let's write the definition here. This is the definition for high level language. Now, let us understand this definition slowly. The word, the words high level do not mean expensive or advanced. High level means the language is closer to humans than to the computer. When we write Python programs, we use English words like, for example, print hello world. You can see here. That is because of Python uses simple English words. This makes Python easy to learn. Now let's run this program. See, I'm running again this. It printed hello world. We wrote one instruction and Python executed it immediately. Let's see one real life example. Suppose your teacher enters the classroom, says, please open your notebook. Immediately everyone understands. And now imagine the teacher starts speaking in a language nobody knows. Will anyone understand? No. So the same thing happens in the programming. Computers do not understand English directly, but programmers understand English. Therefore, the programming languages like Python were designed to be easy for humans. Python acts as a bridge between programmer and the computer. Let's see another example. You can so that you can understand very easily. Now I'm printing. Welcome to Python. So now I have changed the message. Earlier we printed hello world. Let's do this. Now let's run this code. See, it printed welcome to Python. Again, Python prints exactly what we write. Python does not change our message. It simply follows our instructions. Programming is nothing but giving instructions to the computer. Suppose let's see another example so that you can grab this talk. Suppose I'm printing my name is Awati. So I'm printing my name. Python will display whatever you text right in the inside the quotation marks. Now I have run the program. See, it printed my name is Navdeep. What I have written between the quotation marks. So there are some categories of programming languages like mission language, assembly language, and high level language. Programming languages are mainly divided into three categories. First category is mission language, and second category is assembly language, and third category is high level language. Now let us understand each category one by one. Suppose mission language is the language that computer understands directly. Suppose I will give example of mission language. Example for 101010. This is the computer language. Can you understand these numbers? Most probably no. Humans cannot easily remember binary numbers. Writing large programs using only zeros and ones is extremely difficult. This is why programmers rarely write programs in mission language. And I will discuss what is assembly language. To solve the problem of mission language, assembly language was introduced. Instead of writing only zeros and ones, programmers start using short words like add. B. These words are easier. These words are easier than binary numbers, but they are still difficult for beginners. Assembly language also requires an assembler to convert it into mission language. Now let's talk about high level language. High level languages were developed. Examples are Python, Java, C++, and JavaScript. These languages use English words like they are easier to read and easier to write and easier to debug also. That is why beginners usually start learning Python. Let us discuss now advantages of high level language. Advantages means is nothing but it is easier to learn, easy to read, and easy to write, and easy to debug, and less coding is needed. Now we printed before we printed our Python and welcome to Python hello world. You know how it's printed and how it's running. So this is about high level language. We learned what is high level language. Next we are going to learn next question. Let's see comments. Let's talk about that. Comments helps us to understand our own code even after a long time. Today we will discuss understanding comments with practical coding. Let me create a new file. Comments.py. Suppose if I'm writing my my first my first Python program creator print hello world. Let's run the program. So it's giving error. Let's run again. So it printed only hello world. What we have done in the first line, we commented that line. We have commented. So if it commented means it is denoted with hash. If we wrote any line before that, if we wrote hash before that line, it will not print in the next line. Look carefully. Because the line starting with hash is called a comment, Python completely ignores the comment. Comments are written only for humans. The computer does not execute them. So remember one important sentence. Comments are written for programmers, not for the Python. So let's write its definition. Comment is a note written inside a Python program. To explain, comment is a note written inside a program to explain the code. This is the simple definition for comment. So comment is a simply a note. Think about your classroom notebook. Suppose this is a real I'm about a real life example. Sometimes while studying, we write important notes using a different pen color. Those notes help you understand the lesson later. Similarly, the programs also write notes inside the programs. These notes are called comments. Suppose if I'm writing my first Python program. So I'm printing hello world. This is my first Python program. After even after a month, you can see this is your first Python program. So this is how comments are work. So let me discuss one real life example. Imagine if your teacher gives you a mathematics notes. Every step has a small explanation. Because of those explanation, you understand the solution easily. Now imagine the teacher writes only calculations without any explanation. It becomes difficult to understand. Programming is exactly the same. Comments explain the purpose of code. I think you understand it. Let's see, suppose another example so that you can understand easily. Suppose I am writing print student. Suppose I'm a student. My name is Navdeep. So I'm writing the before line. If I write the hash symbol before it, see, it got commented. Now it will only print that Navdeep, my name. See, this is how comment will work. So this is how Python ignores the comment. Only text inside the print function is displayed. This shows that comments never appear in the output. Now, suppose A is equal. Again, I will comment this 20. This is how it will ignore the comment section. Only what we have written, it will run. Single line comment. The most common the most common comment is in Python is a single line comment. The single line comment starts with a hash symbol, as you know I have told before. Even after hash, one that line becomes a comment. Now let me discuss about multi-line comment. Sometimes we want to explain a program in more detail. For that, we will use triple quotation marks. For example, I will explain this program brings a this is how multi-comment works. Now, I think you can print by your own, like your name, hello world. This is how comments work. So now I will explain white space characters. This is white space characters. In white space, but in Python, white space plays a very important role. Good programmers always write clean and formatted code. Today we will understand what white space is, why it is important, and how to use it correctly with practical examples. So I will create a new file. Okay, I think you are also typing with me Python programming. Let's practice together. Suppose I'm creating a variable. Later I will explain clearly about this. So given my variable name is Navdeep. Let's write within double quotation. Suppose let's write age is equal to 19 and whole number equal to 22. Now let's print my name, age, and roll number. Let's see how it's printed: name, age, and roll number. The program works correctly. Now look at the code carefully. Can you read it easily? Yes, but we can make it even more better. I will explain clearly about white space characters. Write this definition in your notebook. White space characters are We will address as spaces, apps, new lines that improve improve the readability of a program. This is the simple definition for white space characters. Now let us understand the definition. White space characters are characters that we cannot see. They do not display like characters, letters, or numbers. The, the three common white space characters are space, tab, and new line. Suppose if I'm writing, let's start before. If I click tab, this is a white space character. Mainly, we will use in if else conditional or conditional statements. I will explain that clearly. And although they are invisible, they help us organize our code. Programmers become easier to read and understand. Now let us talk about space. A space is the most commonly used in white space characters. We use spaces between operators, variables, and values. We'll tell you clear example. Suppose A is equal to B is equal to 10. Suppose if I click A space as operator again space. This is how we use white space characters. If there is molecule, let's comment this. Now let's run this. See output 30. Here between operators we use little bit space between operators. I think you can see. This is how we will use white space characters. Now the second white space character is tab. A tab moves the cursor to the right. In Python, tabs or space are mainly used for indentation. We will study indentation in detail in a later lecture. For now, remember the tabs help organize blocks of code. Now new line. The third white space character is the new line. Every time we press the enter key, Python moves the next line. So let's let's print it line by line. We printed line by line. So this is about third type white space characters, which is new line. It print line by line. Each each print statement is written on a separate line. Python reads and executes the program line by line. I will tell you one real life example. Imagine reading a newspaper. Every sentence has spaces between words. Every paragraph starts on a new line. If there were no space or new lines, reading the newspaper would become very difficult. Program is exactly the same. White space makes our programs clean and readable. I will tell one. some advantages and why white space characters are important. Advantages: easy to read, easy to understand, and clean code, easy teamwork, better maintenance. This is all about white space characters. Now I will explain summary what we have learned about white space characters. We understood that white space includes space tabs and new lines. We learned that white space improves readability and helps us write clean Python programs. Now I will explain next topic. Let's see tokens in Python. Now let us discuss about tokens. Let me create a new file. Okay. Now we are going to learn a very important topic called tokens in a Python. I will tell the definition for tokens. A token is the smallest meaningful unit of a Python program. Now let us understand the definition. A token is the smallest meaningful part of a Python program. Python reads the programs by understanding these tokens. Without tokens, Python cannot understand our code. Remember this sentence. Every Python program is made of token. I will explain with the real life example. Let us understand with a simple example. Imagine you are writing an English sentence. Suppose my name is Navdeep. In this sentence is made of different words. My name is and Navdeep. Each word has its own meaning. Similarly, a Python statement is made of different tokens. Every token has its own purpose. When all the tokens come together, Python understands the complete statement. Types of token. I will explain different types of tokens. Keywords, identifiers, literals, operators, and separators. Python mainly have 5 types of tokens. We will learn each one with examples. First one, keywords. This to see. I have printed. We printed Python. Okay, now look at this problem. Here, if and true. See, if and true. These both are keywords. Keywords are special words already reserved by the Python. They have preferred meanings. Already, these words are already preferred reserved by the Python. If and true. These both words are already reserved by the Python. Later, we will study all Python keywords in a detail. Now, I'm giving example. Tokens have five types. They are keywords. Now let us understand what are identifiers. Suppose Student name is equal to suppose Rahul. Here, let's say the student name. The student name is an identifier. An identifier is a simply a name given by the programmer. We give names to variables, functions, and classes. These names are called identifiers. I think you got it. We can choose meaningful names, for example, student name and student age, marks, salary. These all are identifiers. Now I will give an example of literals. What do you mean by literals? Suppose age is equal to 18, name is equal to percentage is equal to suppose 98.9. Observe carefully. These are fixed values. Fixed values are called literals. 18 is a integral literal. Rahul is a string literal. Later I will explain clearly about that. What is meant by string. And 98.9 is a float literal. Whenever we write a value directly in the program, it is called a literal. Now I will explain about operators. Suppose A is equal to 20, B is equal to 10. B. It printed 30. Output is 30. The plus symbol is an operator here. This plus symbol is an operator. Operator performs an operations. Python has many operators like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and comparison, and logical operators. We will learn all of them in future lectures. Uh, Now I will explain what is meant by separators. Print welcome. Now look carefully. Here the brackets are called separators. These brackets are called separators, and quotation marks also help define the string. Comma, colon, square brackets, and curly braces. All these help Python understand the structure of the program. Now, complete example. Now, what we have seen before. This is about tokens and different types of tokens. Now, I think you will practice this with you. You can grab this concept very easily. Now, I will explain very briefly. Now we have learned about tokens in Python. We understood that every Python program is made of tokens. We also learned the five main types of keywords tokens, like keywords, identifiers, literals, operators, and separators. These are five topics what we have learned in. So now next we are going to discuss identifiers very deeply. In tokens, we have seen very basic concept of identifiers. Now we are going to discuss very briefly so that you can understand easily. Now we are going to discuss the important topics in Python programming called identifiers. Each Python program uses variables, functions, classes, and objects. Later we will discuss about that. Now the answer is through identifiers. By the so we will able to create your own identifiers correctly. Let us start with practical examples. Let's create a file. Identifiers.py. Suppose name is equal to each. Let's run this. Not sorry. So it printed now. Okay. There is one important word here. I gave this name. This word name is called an identifier. An identifier is a simply name given by the programmer. Whenever we create a variable function or class, we give it a name. That name is called identifier. Now let's write the definition of identifier. An identifier is a name given by the programmer to variables, functions, classes, and objects. So let me connect. There is some disturbance around the connect to Bluetooth. Let me see whether the video is recording or not. Okay, I think it's recording. So this is the definition for identifier. An identifier is a name given by the programmer to variables, functions, classes, and objects. Let us understand this definition. The keyword here is a name. If you create a variable, it needs a name. If you create a function, it needs a name. Suppose if you create a class also, therefore it also needs a name. So all these names are called identifiers. So remember one simple sentence. Identifier means giving name. So I will give you one example. See here the output. Student name Rahul and his age is 18. So here student name is another identifier and student age is another identifier. Both are different identifiers. All these names were chosen by the programmer. Python did not create them, created by the programmer. So now I'll explain most important rules for five identifiers. I think we have to write because these are very important. Must start with a letter or underscore. Cannot start with a number. This is the most important point you have to remember. No spaces allowed and no characters except underscore. Cannot use Python keywords. Okay, now let us understand each rule with examples. These rules are very important. Many beginners make mistakes here. Now, rule one. Now let's comment. Otherwise, okay, let's comment all this. Suppose first rule must start with a letter or underscore. Name is equal to. So it's a name. So first point was her. Now let's take second point. Cannot start with a number. Suppose if we wrote with a number, now I think it will give error. Invalid decimal literal. So the second point is also correct. In the if we cannot start with a number, this is the main point we have to remember. No special spaces are allowed. Suppose student name. So we have give space here. Okay. Invalid syntax today. And so third point is also correct. So cannot use Python keywords. Python keywords means I will explain. Keywords, I have told before if, true, false. These are reserved keywords in Python. If is equal to 100, see, print it, see. Because if is a reserved keyword, even if you are thinking it's a variable, no, it's a reserved keyword in Python. So now I'll explain very briefly about this. Now we have learned about identifiers in Python. We understood that an identifier is simply a name given by the programmer. We learned the five important rules for naming identifiers. We also practice correct and incorrect examples. Okay, now I'll explain. Whenever you create a variable, always use a meaningful identifier. Okay, now let's start with keywords in a Python. Okay, now we are going to learn another important topic called keywords in a Python. This topic is very important because beginners often make mistakes by using keywords as a variable names. By the end of this lecture, you will understand what keywords are, why they are reserved by the Python, and how to identify them in practical examples. With practical examples. Now I will give you examples. Suppose if is equal to 100, print if it will give error. So, give an error. Because if is a reserved word in Python, it's a keyword, not a variable. If is a Python keyword, Python has already reserved this word for decision making. We cannot use it as variable name. Now I will give another example. Suppose marks is equal to 100, print marks. See, it printed 100. So then our program works perfectly because marks is not an keyword. It is an identifier created by the programmer. So remember this important difference. Keywords are created by the program Python. Keywords are created by Python and identifiers are created by the programmers. This is a huge difference between them. You have to understand. Keyword before we have learned keyword is a reserved word. Now I will give you example definition. Please note this. The keyword is a reserved word in Python that has a predefined meaning. Keywords cannot be used as identifiers. Now, let us understand this definition. A keyword is a special word that already has meaning in a Python. Python uses these words as a specific purpose. So let's say real life example. So now I'll give some keywords, reserved keywords in Python. Please note this. While break, continue, pass, to, false, none, def, less, and import. These are the main keywords usually we will use. You have to remember these. You have to remember these keywords. As we continue learning Python, you will use these keywords naturally. For example, if is used for decision making, for is used for loops, while is used for repetition, def is used for create functions, class is used to create classes. We will study every keyword in detail later. Now, I will give you one example using if keyword. Suppose age is equal to 18. If age greater than equal to 18, for print you are old enough. See, you are old enough. Let's comment this. Now let's run again. You are old enough. Yeah, observe this program carefully. Here, if is a keyword, it tells Python to check a condition, whether it's according to that condition. Print displays the message. Age is an identifier because we created it. Now, how keywords and identifiers work together in one program. Now, I will tell the difference between keywords and identifiers. Keywords reserved by the Python. Identifiers means created by the programmer. Created by the programmer. Keywords fixed meaning. Identifiers means user defined name. Keywords cannot be changed. Identifiers can be changed. Yeah, and keywords cannot be used as variable names. Identifiers used for variables, functions, and classes. So these differences are very much we have to remember this. And one more thing, keywords are fixed, identifiers are flexible. Keywords already defined by Python. Identifiers are created by us or programmer. These things we have to remember. So usually the common mistakes means we cannot use for while these are the variables. These are the common mistakes many of them are doing because of they don't know for is an reserved keyword. They are using it as a variable as an identifier. So these are the common mistakes many of the doing. Now this is about keywords what we have learned in this topic. We understood that keywords are reserved words with predefined meanings. We learned that keywords cannot be used as an identifiers. We also practiced several examples. As you know, you have seen this. Remember one sentence first. But remember one sentence. This is a very important. Keywords belong to Python. Identifiers belong to the programmer. This is the best thing to remember. Now let's start next topic. Evaluation of Python keywords. Okay, let's see this. Now we are going to learn evaluation of Python keywords. Okay, if someone asks you if Python is one programming language, then why they are different versions like Python 2 and Python 3? And why do some old programs not work in new versions? The answer is simple. So I will explain. Python keeps improving with every new version. Some new keywords are added and some old features are removed. Some existing features become better. This is continuous improvement called the evolution of Python. Today, today we will understand this topic with simple examples. Okay, now, what does evaluation mean? Evaluation means gradual improvement or development over time. Let us understand this word. What is evaluation? Evolution means something improves little by little over time. For example, think about your mobile phone. 5 years ago, mobile phones had fewer features. Today, they have better cameras, faster processors, large batteries, and many new applications. The phone keeps improving every year. Similarly, the Python also keeps improving. Every new version brings better features. Python versions like Python 1.x, Python 2x, Python 3x, etc. The Python has changed over many years, and Python came Python 1. Later, Python 2 was released. Now, almost everyone uses Python 3. Python 3 is most faster and secure, easier to use, and has many improved features. That is why we are learning Python 3 in this course. So, now I'll explain with another example. Suppose if you download Python program from the internet, it was written 10 years ago. Sometimes the program may not work properly in Python 3. Why? Because Python has evolved and some old syntax has changed. This is why you should always check which Python version is a program written for. Okay, ask you one question. Why does Python change? Once think and tell me in the comment section. Okay, now I'll explain why does Python change. Why Python evolves, for example. It fixes bugs, improves performance, add new features, increase security also, make programming easier. Python developers improve the language continuously. Let us understand these points. Fix bugs. Sometimes programmers discover problems in old versions. In next version, fixes them. Improve performance. New version often runs program faster. Add new structure. Add new features. Every year, Python introduces a useful features. These features make programming easier. Increases security. Security is very important for nowadays. New versions remove weakness and improve protection. Make programming easier. The main goal of Python has always been simplicity. Every version tries to make coding easier. Now I will discuss with one real life example. Imagine if you buy a motorcycle. Next year, the company launches a new model. The new model has better mileage, better brakes, better engine, a better display. The company keeps improving the product. Python is also improved in the same way. Every version becomes better than the previous one. Now, usually we are using Python 3. Suppose if I gave a name is equal to now the print name. This is how syntax was changed in Python 3. Okay, now evaluation of Python keywords nothing but a theory concept. As I have discussed, there is nothing of practical coding. Okay, I will give in brief. I will remove this topic very quickly. We understood that Python improves with new version. We learned Python 3 is recommended. Why Python 3 is recommended in this topic? We also understood why some old Python 2 programs are different. Now onwards, let us start with very important topic. Now actually we have entered into real Python. Okay, now let us start with variables. These concepts are very important. Okay, now we are going to learn one of the most important topics. Now onwards, every topic was very important in Python. Let us talk with variables. Before learning loops, conditions, functions, or advanced Python concept, we must understand variables. Almost every program uses variables whenever we want to store information like student name, age, marks, salary, or mobile number. We use variables. In today's lecture is very important. Now we are going to discuss creating a new file. So I forgot to discuss with you one thing. So whenever I'm creating a file, I'm creating, if you observe, variables.py, identifiers.py, and comments.py. This is the extension we will use in VS Code or any other platforms. .py is the extension for Python. For C programming, CPP, as you know, sorry, C++.cpp. Like this, we will use for every different programming language. Suppose name is equal to, suppose John. I'll print name. We print John. See, it printed John. So here name is called here name is called a variable. The value John is stored inside the variable. Now let's see the this now let's see this second line. What I have highlighted here. Instead of printing the text directly, we are printing the variable. Python looks inside the variable and displays its value. That's why the output is John. Now I tell you a definition right here clearly. A variable a variable is a name used used to store data in the computer's computer's memory. Now let us understand this definition. A variable is a variable is simply a container, just like a water bottle stores water. A variable stores data. The data can be named, an age, a salary, marks, or any other information. The variable helps us to store and use that information whenever we need it. Remember this simple sentence. Suppose variable is equal to container for storing data. Let us discuss with one real life example. Suppose you have three boxes. On the first box you write books. On the second box you write clothes. In third box you write shoes. Whenever you want your books, you, you open the books box. Similarly in programming,
Variables are like labeled boxes. Each variable has a name. Each variable stores a value. Whenever we need the value, we use variable name. This is how it works. Suppose, for example, age is equal to 18, print age. So it's printing my age. This is how it stores. Suppose age is a variable, 18 is stored in that variable. This is how variable works. Suppose another example so that you can understand what is variable clearly. Marks is equal to 99, print marks. So it printed marks, my marks 99. Here marks is a variable, 99 is stored inside a variable means marks. Suppose marks is a box inside 99, inside that box 99. So marks is a variable store a value that 99 inside a box. I think you got this logic. What I want to say. So why actually the main question, why do we need variables? To store data, reuse data, easy to modify, and improve readability. So if anyone asks you why we can't simply write values directly, imagine a program where your name appears 1,000 times, 100 times. If your name changes, you must edit all 100 places. Instead store the name once in a variable. If the value changes, update only one line. The entire program automatically uses the name new value. This is why variables are very useful. Okay. Now I will explain one clearly. Suppose name is equal to John. I will remove it. Again, I will print name. Again, I will name. See, it printed 3 times John. See what happened. We stored the value only once, but we used it 3 times. This is the power of variables. Changing variables, we can change it. Variable is not permanent. We can replace it. Suppose if I have written here John, you can replace it with another name. You can change it. Now, the basic common mistakes many of the students will do, writing the variable name inside the quotation. This is how they suppose, for example, they are writing between quotation. See, it printed name. This is how many of them were doing these mistakes. These are the common mistakes many of them are doing. So this is about variables. So I will explain very briefly. We understood that a variable is a container used to store data. We learned why variables are used and how they make programs easier to write and maintain. We also practice several programs using variables as you know, we have done many programs. Now, next we are going to discuss assigning different values to variables. Okay, let us discuss this topic. Till we have 9 questions to solve. I have this is the main topic as as a questions, we are learning concept, every concept step by step. This is the best idea I have think. Assigning different values to variables. Okay, good. Now we are going to learn assign different values to variables. Many beginners think variables can store only names or numbers, but that is not true. A Python variable can store different types of values. For example, it can store text, numbers, decimal numbers, or even true and false values. Today, we will learn all this practically by writing Python programs. So you can understand very easily. Okay, let's comment all this. Suppose name is equal to, let's print out. Output is name. Output, you see the output as you know. Let us understand this program. My name is the variable, name is the value. Navdeep is the value stored inside it. Since the value is written inside quotation marks, it is called string. A string is simply a collection of characters. It can store names, cities, countries, or any text, not integers. For example, Python, India, hello. All these are different types of strings. Assigning a integer value. First, this is the assigning of integer value. It's print age 18. Now, we storing a number. Notice carefully, there are no quotation marks. This is an integer. Integers are whole numbers, which include all integer type of numbers. Now, assigning a float value of 5 is equal to 89, 82.8. Now, let's on this. Suppose decimals. This is called float integer type. Now the value contains a decimal point. Such numbers are called floating point numbers or floats. Suppose, for example, 100.75, 99.45. All these are different types of floating points. For example, height, weight, percentage, temperature, or money calculations. We will use float calculations. In further, we will do many problems. So will you can understand easily. Assigning a Boolean value. Now I'll explain what is a Boolean value. Suppose a student is equal to true. True. Here we are storing true. True and false are Boolean values. They are mainly used for decision making. For example, is the student present yes or no? Is the payment successful? True or false? Is the user logging in? True or false? Python uses Boolean values in many real world applications. For example by storing values as we learn. I think these examples are enough. I will discuss with one real life example and close this topic. Suppose imagine you are here filling you are filling out a college admission form. The form asks for your name, your age, your percentage. Whether you are eligible, every field stores a different type of information. Programming works in exactly the same way. Each variable stores a different value according to its purpose. Now, changing variable. I will discuss small example. Suppose city is equal to New York. Again, city. Now I will change We printed New York and we observed carefully. Initially, the variable stored New York. Later, we assigned a new value. Now the variable stores USA. This shows that variables can change their values during program execution. Student information program, as you know, we have done before. Now, these are the common mistakes. Many beginners make these mistakes. Writing numbers inside the quotation marks when, as an integer for as string types, we have to use this quotation inside between quotations. We have to use as an integer. No need to use the quotations. These are the common mistakes. Many of them will confuse. So I will explain this topic very briefly and let's close this topic. We stored strings, integers, floating point numbers, and Boolean values. We also learned that variables can store different types of information and that their values can be changed whenever required. Okay, let's. I think you will practice this topic. You can grab this topic very easily. Now, let's go to the next topic, assignment of variables. Assignment of variables in Python. Okay. Many students know how to create variables, but they don't know how different ways to assign values. There are different ways to assign values. In Python, there are multiple ways to assign values to variables. We will learn them in practical with practical examples. Okay, let's start coding. Let's comment this. Suppose a is equal to 10, b is equal to a, and a is equal to 50. Print a, print b. Let's run this code. So if you see the output is 50 and print b, output is 10. This example is very important. I will explain. Initially, both A and B contain 10. Later, we change only A. Now A becomes 50, but B still stores 10. Changing one variable does not automatically changes another variable. I will explain with a real life example. Imagine you have one notebook. You write the number 10 on a page. Now you copy the same number into another notebook. Later, you erase the number in the first notebook and write 50. Will the second notebook automatically become 15? No, it still contains 10. Many variables work exactly the same way. Suppose let another, suppose college. So it's printed LP help you. So it can help you. Assignment is not only for numbers, it also works for strings also. Here the value stored in college is copied into university. Both variables store the same text. As we can use this as reassigning variables also, reassigning values. Means suppose if you write city is equal to Hyderabad, print city, it will print Hyderabad. Again, in the next line, city is equal to Delhi. Then you print city, it will print Delhi. So according to it will print line by line. Now I think you got this topic and do practice so you can become very easy. Now I will explain very briefly and let's close this topic. Now we have learned about assignment of variables in Python. We understood the purpose of assignment operator. Means assignment operator is nothing but this equal to, as I have told before, assignment operator. We understood the purpose of assignment operator. We learned simple assignment and assigning one variables to another and reassigning values. We also practiced several programs, understood how values are stored inside variables. Now, next topic. Now let's start next topic. Now the next topic is chain assignment. We have in previous we have learned about assignment of variables. Now this is chained assignment. This is a very useful feature in Python. Sometimes we want to assign the same value to multiple variables instead of writing many assignment statements. Python gives us a shorter and smarter way. That method is called chain assignment. Let us understand with practical examples. Let me create a new file for this. .py. Suppose A is equal to 10, B is equal to 10, C is equal to 10. Into A and B, C. So the output is 10 and 10. Variable stores 10, variable B stores 10, variable C also stores 10. The program is correct, but look carefully. We wrote that value 10 three different times. Imagine if we had 10 variables, we, we would have to repeat the same value again and again. Can we write this program in a shorter way? Yes. The answer is yes. Python provides a chained assignment. Suppose I'll write in this shorter way. Let's see. A is equal to B is equal to is equal to 10. Print. Okay, let's print in line by line. So printed 10, 10, 10. This single line assigns the value 10 to all three variables. A gets 10, B gets 10, and C gets 10. Instead of writing three separate lines, we wrote only one line. This is called chained assignment. This is the one of the easiest important example for chained assignment. Okay, now I will write definition for chained assignment. Assignment assigning the same value to two or more variables using using a okay. Let us understand this definition. The, the important words are same value, multiple variables, single statement in the definition. Whenever all variables need the same value, we can use chain assignment. I will explain one with one real life example. Imagine your teacher gives every student the same notebook. There are five students. Instead of giving notebooks one by one and explaining each time, the teacher gives the same notebook to everyone. Python gives the same value to all variables in one statement. So this is about chain assignment. We are assigning the string Python to three variables. Suppose all three variables now store the same value. Chain assignment works not only with numbers, but also works with strings. Suppose marks 1 is equal to marks 2 is equal to marks 3 is equal to something 95. Then you can print all the marks. It will show the output is 95 once you can say. All three variables stores the same value. This makes our course shorter and easier to learn. Suppose you can use this concept using Boolean values. Suppose student 1 is equal to student 2 is equal to student 2 equal to true. Then you can print all student 1, student 2, student 3. The output will be true, true, true. Notice that a chain assignment also works with Boolean values. The value true is assigned to all three variables. Changing one variable. So suppose if you are writing, if I think A is equal to this some example now, let's change the B variable is equal to 20. So the output is 10, 20, 10. This example is very important. Initially, all three variables contain 10. Later, we changed only B to 20. Now, still A still contains 10, B contains 20, and still contains 10. Changing one variable does not automatically changes the others. Each variable becomes independent after the assignment. Now, basically, the common mistakes many of the students will do. Many students think that after chained assignment, changing one variable will be changed all variables. No, that's not. That is incorrect. Each variable stores its own value. If you change one variable later, the others remain unchanged. Always test your program by changing one variable and observing the output. Now, let us discuss briefly about this topic and let's close this topic. Now, we understood how to assign the same value to multiple variables using a single statement. We practice chain assignment with a numbers, string, and Boolean values. We also learned that changing one variable later does not affect the others. This is how the chain assignment works. Now, let's talk about next topic, expressions. This is the one of the most important topic we have to understand expressions in Python. Almost every Python program uses expressions. Whenever we perform calculations, compare values, or combine different variables, we use expressions. Okay, now let's understand about this. Suppose addition expression. Let me create a one file again. Suppose A is equal to 10. Sorry. Now let's run this code. The output is 30. Here A plus B is called an expression. Because why? Because Python evaluates it. Python takes the value of A, which is 10. Then it takes the value of B, which is 20. Finally, it performs the addition. The answer becomes 30. The Python stores 30 inside the variable result. So remember, an expression always produces a value. Okay, let's write a definition of expressions. An expression is a combination of variables, values, and operators that produces she give me a 1 minute guys. It's recording. Okay. This is the definition of expression. Let us understand this definition slowly. An expression contains three important things: variables, values, and operators. When Python evaluates the expression, it always produces one final result. That result can be a number, a string, or even true or false. Real life example. Let me explain you one real life example. Imagine you got you got to a s- when you got to a supermarket, you buy a chocolate for 20 rupees. You buy a juice for 30 rupees. Now you calculate 20 plus 30. The calculation gives you 50. That calculation is just like an expression. You take values, use an operator, and get a result. Programming works in exactly the same way. Subtraction you can do, and multiplication. Suppose length is equal to 10, width is equal to 5. Area is equal to length using multiplication operator, print area. I think you have to do it. Let's see the string expression. Suppose first name is equal to uh, now let's remove the first name plus second name. Now print will down. Sorry. The prints now. The expressions are not only for numbers, they also work with strings. Here the plus operator joins with two strings. This process is called string concatenation. Instead of adding numbers, Python joins the text together. Next, comparison expression. We can use comparison expression. For example, A is equal to 20, B is equal to 10. Print A, true. Here, the operator is greater than. This is a greater than operator. So the answer is true. Python checks whether the 20 is greater than 10 or not. The answer is true. Notice something important. An expression does not always produce a number. Something it produces true or false. Types of expressions: arithmetic expression, relational expressions, logical expressions, and string expressions. These are the four types of expressions: arithmetic, relational, logical, string. Arithmetic performs calculations, relational expressions compares values, logical expressions combine conditions, string expression joins text. These are the four types of expressions we have learned. Now, mixed compression. Suppose mixed compression A is equal to so the output is 60. Python calculates the value inside the brackets 10 plus 20. Later equals to 30. 30 into 2, 60. How it calculates like this. This shows that Python follows the mathematical order of operations. And in this concept, there is common mistakes as students can do. Many students make these mistakes, writing a variable before assigning a value, using the wrong operator. forgetting brackets in complex expressions. Another common mistake is expecting string addition to perform numerical addition. Always check whether you are working with numbers or strings. Now, now let's talk briefly and let's close this topic. Now we learned about expressions in Python. We understood that an expression is a combination of variables, values, and operators that produces a result. We practice arithmetic expressions, string expressions, and comparison expressions. We also learned that every expression finally produces one value. This is about expression. Now, next we are going to the most important topic, statements. Let me create a new file. Okay, now let's start within 2 minutes. Okay, let's start this topic. Previous lecture we learned about expressions. Now we are going to discuss. We understood that expression is a combination of values, variables, and operators that produces a result. Now we are going to learn another important topic called statements in Python. Many beginners get confused between expressions and statements. Some students think both are the same, but they are different. Now we will clearly understand what is statement is, how Python executes statement, and the difference between expressions and statements. Now, suppose if you print hello everyone, runs the program. Now it prints hello everyone. As you know, before we learned the basic concept. Look carefully. Now, this complete line is called a statement. The statement is simply an instruction given to Python. Okay, as you know. Now remember this, what I am telling. Now the instruction is display hello everyone on the screen. Python reads the statement and immediately executes it. So remember one important sentence. A statement is an instruction given to Python. Now let's write this definition of a statement. A state a statement is a complete instruction that Python can execute. Let us understand this definition. When we write a complete instruction, when we write a complete instruction, Python understands it and executes it. That complete instruction is called a statement. Every Python program is made of one or more statements. Without statement, Python cannot perform any work. Now let's discuss with one real life example. Imagine your teacher gives you four instructions. Open your notebook, write today's date, and write the heading. Start start writing the notes. You will perform the last instruction first. Python works in exactly same way. It executes statement one after another in sequence. Another statement with expression. Suppose I'll give you one example. X is equal to 15.